by the generosity of the Nigerian Army. We are very much touched by their display of empathy and support.
Tonight, internally displaced persons get a feel of the Salah celebration. Give room for negotiation, a plea from the Labour Minister to members of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria. Plus, Nigeria and Côte d'Ivoire strategize on new frontiers in domestic tourism. A very good evening and thanks for joining us on the NTA Network News for tonight. I am Fumi Wakama. Over 60,000 internally displaced persons in Dikwa Camp, Borno State, are benefiting from the Nigerian Army Life Support Intervention Programs. This was part of activities marking this year's Nigerian Army Day celebration. Defense correspondent Muhammad Abdul Kadri reports that Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima was there.
It was a beehive of activities commemorating the Nigerian Army Day and Salah celebration with the IDPs. First was the lunch provided by the Nigerian Army and served by the dignitaries to dignify the IDPs.
Salah experience at the camp.
The mood here is not reflective of the festive Salah season. It is boring and the sense of despair is palpable. The environment says it all. These are the internally displaced persons in the Kuchingoro axis of Abuja, and their plight has denied them a feel of the ongoing festivities of Eid al-Fitr. Bakora Ali and Adiza Mohammed have been resident in the camp for 4 years now. They express concern over the reality of their present situation, and they say Salah at the camp is often an emotional experience.
If we are in the home, Salah will not be like this. If we are in the home, we used to make Salah often 4 days, and the way we go to the Salah, if we come back, we see some rams and some food like this available. But this one, nothing. Even the food myself, is not the way that we used to chop. That is why you see us, our house, no place to go.
Philip Emmanuel is the chairman of the camp and is not enthusiastic about the days ahead. He urges the federal government to intensify efforts towards relocating the IDPs to their villages, as most of them are better off as farmers and traders.
This is the love that God said we should love each other. So anything happen to your brother like this, it happened to you, it will affect you. And make them continue to keep praying for us.
For these three and the rest of the camp, their prayer is that the spirit of brotherhood, good neighborliness, and charity that Ramadan preaches will live on after the Eid season in the daily lives of Muslims across the country. In Abuja, Abdul Malik Adjo, NTA News.
More in Salah celebration as the National Emergency Management Agency has hosted internally displaced persons to a Salah party in Yola. Simon Asha reports on the mood of the Salah celebration in the city.
This is the moods of the IDPs, numbering about 1,500 at the Malkawi camp in Yola, who are thrilled as they gathered in their number to join the rest of the world in marking this year's Eid al-Fitr Salah celebration. The get-together party organized in their honor was extended to the IDPs at Fofore camp to give them a sense of belonging. Some of the IDPs who spoke to NTA News expressed satisfaction and happiness in the way and manner they were remembered. The man Ibrahim, manager of the Malkoi IDPs camp, says the gesture is to help alleviate the psychological trauma the IDPs have gone through, who expectedly will have wished to celebrate the Salah in their various home.
It's in celebration of the Salah that they are all gathered dancing today. So at this show, behind sorrow, there's always happiness and joy. And we took our time to give them that.
Similarly,
that's about all we can take on that report. But internally displaced persons camp within Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, were not left out of the Eid al-Fitr celebration. Muhammad Ibrahim Ivor reports that the IDPs say they are in need of more assistance from government and other non-governmental organizations.
There are about 12 registered IDPs camps in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, some of which have existed for more than 2 years now. Other camps exist in Bama, Dikwa, Mangunu, and Baga local government areas. On this Salah day, the IDPs joined other faithful for the Eid congregational prayers within and near the camps. NTA News visit to some of the IDP camps in Maiduguri showed adults and children in Salah mood celebration. This is Shetima Ali Mangono Teachers Village IDP camp, where more than 8,000 IDPs from Kukawa and Ngala local government areas are taking refuge. Some of them who spoke to NTA News said they are undergoing hard times in the midst of the celebration.
The SEMA and the representatives, they promised that they came and distribute the Dangote distribution. 30 people, 1 bag of rice, which is very great embarrassment.
They also complained that it is not sufficient and no condiment is given, which leads them to staying hungry at most times, and some of them malnourished and ill. While assessing the camp condition, we came across this young mother, Maria Mamman, who just put to bed. Her grandmother said she has not received the proper health care which is lacking in the camp. In all the camps visited, the people called for more relief assistance and safe return to their communities. Meanwhile, the Eid congregational prayers were held successfully in Maiduguri, Borno state capital, as the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Burate, Governor Kasim Shetima, and Shehu of Borno joined faithfuls to observe the 2-rakat prayer at the Ramat Square, Maiduguri. Salah celebration was observed peacefully in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, amidst unrestricted vehicular movement, the first in 6 years. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Ibrahim, NTA News.
In other news, the Emir of Daura and Muslim Umar observed the Eid al-Fitr prayer peacefully at the Daura Central Eid Prayer Ground in Katsina State. Ado Ali Ibrahim has the report.
That was Daura Central Eid Ground Eid al-Fitr prayer led by Malam Sopiano Yusuf and Samwe. The prayer has in attendance Emir of Daura, Alhaji Umar Faruk Umar, and many Muslim worshippers. The Imam in his khutbah reiterated the obligation of the Zakat al-Fitr as it was instructed in the Quran and Sunnah. Similarly, the Eid al-Fitr prayer also took place at Daura Lakas Jumat Mosque, led by the Chief Imam of Masara Jumat Mosque, Malam Hassan Yusuf, who charged Muslim worshippers to reflect what they have learned during Ramadan fast in their daily affairs. However, Emir of Daura, Alhaji Umar Faruk Umar, and his entourage observed Salah Daba at his palace. Katsina State Governor Aminu Bello Masari, who was represented by State Commissioner for Justice Ames Usman El Marzouk and some Muslim worshippers, it could be recalled, Bin Daura is the President Muhammadu Buhari's hometown. The emirate honored the president with traditional title called Bayat Jidda Hausa. Daura Daba is among the famous traditional Daba in northern parts of Nigeria. In Daura, Ado Ali Ibrahim, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Muslims have been advised to remain steadfast and imbibe the lessons of Ramadan, which include sacrifice and good neighborliness. This was the central message across the country during the celebration of Eid al-Fitr. Talatu Uzurike packaged the reports.
Muslim faithful celebrated the Eid al-Fitr in Okene, Kogi State. Clement Oloruntova reports that the state governor Yahya Bello called on Muslims to remain steadfast and allow the lessons of Ramadan, which emphasizes self-discipline, obedience and love, to reflect in their endeavors.
We are doing our best as a government to make sure that we put things in a proper perspective.
Also, Muslims in Taraba State capital Jalingo observed the celebration. Murtala Aminu Mutumbu reports that the state deputy governor Haruna Manu called for fervent prayers for sustaining peace, unity and development.
They should be their brothers' keepers. They should continue to live peacefully. And then, of course, they should pray for the government.
In Yola, Muslims converge on the Eid prayer ground for the celebration. Rayanu Bala reports that the chief imam of Yola Central Mosque called for life of sacrifice, unity and love for one another, while prayers were heard for peace. A Daba was later held at the Lamido Vadamawa Dr. Muhammad Barkindo Aliyu Mustafa Palace. He called on the people to shun violence. From Ilorin, Kwara State, Abdul Wahid Bibire reports that the chief imam admonished Muslims to continue to exhibit the spirit of honesty, empathy and resilience as demonstrated during the just concluded Ramadan. There were more Eid prayers, this time in Ekiti State. Ayo Deji reports that the prayer was led by the President, League of Imams and Abfals in the Southwest, Edo and Delta states. And Muslims in Ogun State observed the Eid al-Fitr, where the chief imam of Ijebu Igbo Muslim community advised them to make tolerance, self-control and obedience to God their guiding principles. Talati Izarike, NTA News.
The Minister of State Environment, Ibrahim Usman Jibrin, has called on the people of Nasarawa State to be law-abiding and support the policies of the federal government to bring about development. Agatha Joseph Obiora reports that the minister gave the advice during this year's Eid al-Fitr celebration in Nasarawa State.
The Minister of State for Environment, Ibrahim Usman Jibrin, who was in his hometown, Nasarawa State, to celebrate the Eid al-Fitr, urged Nigerians to key into agriculture for food, security and job creation.
We must have to diversify our economy. Pray and pray for peaceful coexistence, and all other things will follow by the grace of God.
And continue to respect constituted authority.
The Emir of Kefi, Shehu Chindoya Musa III, in his Salam message, urged Nigerians to go back to farming.
The economy of our country is deteriorating, but I believe with agriculture, everything will be okay.
We have a brand new emir. He will, by the special grace of God, take our town to a greater heights.
For us to try and avoid getting ourselves involved in any act that may bring down the progress of Nigeria.
The Eid celebration were observed peacefully. From Kefi, Agatha Joseph Obioha, NTA News.
Similarly, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Muhammad Musa Bello, has emphasized the need for inter-religious harmony as a catalyst for peaceful coexistence in the country. He stated this when he received a cross-section of FCT residents who paid him Salah homage at his life camp residence in Abuja. Metaira Ipen reports.
The FCT minister commended clerics, traditional rulers and the political class for promoting inter-religious harmony, which he says has given FCT an edge as the center of unity in the country, while stressing that efforts must be made to sustain the trend to pave way for development.
Continue to give us your support and goodwill so that by the grace of God we will be able to continue to provide service to our citizens.
Unity, that is the most important thing. Unity, and the citizens must ensure that we live in peace and harmony.
The new FCT Police Commissioner, Alkali Baba Usman, urged FCT residents to celebrate Salah without fear of molestation.
I will continue to provide security in all parks, recreation centers, and other places of festivity. We will also maintain serious visibility within the town.
He also appealed to residents to be vigilant and to furnish security agencies with useful information of any suspicious activity. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
And away from the festivities, work is expected to resume throughout the country tomorrow Friday after the public holidays to mark the Eid al-Fitr. Adebola Brooksland Sunday was out to monitor the traffic situation within the metropolis and adherence to safety regulations.
NTA Crew's first port of call was the Utako Motor Park, where motorists are lamenting low patronage.
For we are not passenger now, there's no passenger now. Then when fuel cost, then there's no more.
That we are in rainy season, you understand. You need to check the wipers, the light in the system. Now that you may even want to leave late, you understand, their light must be very, very effective.
A simple message from the traffic expert is, get involved, think safety, act safely, avoid injury and untimely death. In Abuja, Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
Many thanks, Adebola. Ahead on the news tonight, Nigeria and Sierra Leone hold talks on bilateral issues. Details when we come back.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words: run, hide, report.
New Twin Bash. Simply dial *223* pin hash and see how as little as 100 naira can give you amazing benefits for free. 125 megabytes of ultra high-speed data worth 500 naira, which includes 25 megabytes to give someone. Plus 200 naira talk time to call all networks for free.
Sister, Equitosi.
Sister, waiting now.
Even brother same sign. Brother sign no.
A lie, no be you get time. The largest data network, Globe, unlimited.
Struggling with converting that great idea into a bankable business? Come learn how to create sustainable wealth and jobs at the Youth Entrepreneurship Summit and Expo Nigeria. Theme: Nigeria Beyond Oil. Exploring entrepreneurial opportunities. Hosted by the Eco Convention Center, Victoria Island, Lagos, on Tuesday, the 12th of July, 2016 at 8 a.m. Expected speakers: Professor Yemi Oshibajo, Barrister Solomon Dalong, Dr. Chris Ngige, Carrie Booker, Bilikisi Adebi Abiola, Bumi Otegbade, etc. To attend the summit, see details on yesnigeria.com.ng. Partners include NTA, Eco Hotels, Beat FM, Protection Plus, and many others. For sponsorship, please call Indiana on 0703-272-3654 or Bosun on 0817-668-2290 or email indiana@yesnigeria.com.ng. This event
Fast relief you can actually feel. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor.
Smart Speedo from Airtel brings you up to 200% more data. 1,000 naira gets you 1.5 gigabytes. 2,000 naira gets you 3.5 gigabytes. 2,500 naira gets you 5 gigabytes. And 3,500 naira gets you 7 gigabytes of real quality data. Dial *141# to enjoy real data on Smart Speedo.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
We are here to serve, and indeed, Nigerians will get the service they have longed for and which they rightly deserve.
The leader today that we have in Nigeria is one the world has been waiting for. Nigeria is seen in a new and a different, very positive light.
With what President Muhammadu Buhari is doing, our economy will be strong and resilient to withstand the shocks.
He wants the best for this nation. We want the best for this nation. Our aspirations should be to put this country first, and together we shall make progress.
If we don't believe in our own country, nobody will believe in our own country. So we must make sure that we continue with the trajectory. We don't want to make a mistake of the past.
This president has a singular opportunity to make that difference because the whole country is behind him.
And by the grace of Almighty God and the sheer will and determination of the Nigerian people, we will come out stronger and more united than ever.
You're still watching the NTA Network News. Participants on NTA's flagship program, Good Morning Nigeria, have called for urgent regeneration of Nigerian ports to boost maritime activities and help diversify the nation's economy. This was the conclusion during a discussion on emerging opportunities in the maritime sector. Joy Uzo reports.
Guests on Good Morning Nigeria noted that as part of measures to steer the nation's economy from the current depression in the face of dwindling oil revenue, the maritime industry owes the key to the desired economic growth. The analyst explained that with hundreds of nautical miles of coastline, the abundant opportunities in the maritime sector should be well harnessed to make the nation a competitive and attractive investment destination.
And we need to look inward to see other areas that we can develop. The maritime sector is one such place.
we would encourage the building of additional ports, a fleet that is modeled after the structure and character of Nigeria's trade.
And that is the situation we have in Nigeria today. So many laws to make sure it happens, lack of will on all parties concerned to enforce.
The discussion revealed that Nigeria exports about 900 million barrels of crude oil annually, but foreign vessels earn the freight of about $2.25 billion yearly. This, they explained, amount to carrying the country's crude with no freight earning benefits to Nigeria.
1978, we have been talking about lifting our crude. See, today, no Nigerian has been able to lift a liter or a barrel of crude to take to the international market.
To save the situation and maximize the potentials of Nigerian ports towards diversification of the economy, the guests advocate urgent establishment and upgrade of idle ports in the country, as well as a check of corrupt practices and other irregularities stiffening the growth of indigenous shipping companies. In Abuja, Joy Uzo, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, and that of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachuku, have appealed to the leadership of Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengason, to stay action on the intended strike to allow for more negotiations. Consequently, the two ministers are to hold a crucial meeting with officials of Pengason on Monday, the 11th of July. The meeting will hold at the Ministry of Petroleum Resources Ministers' Boardroom, 11th floor NNPC Towers by 11 o'clock in the morning. And following the release of the Sierra Leonean Deputy High Commissioner to Nigeria, who was kidnapped last week, a high-powered government delegation from Sierra Leone has visited Nigeria. The delegation, led by that country's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Dr. Kamara Matthew Samora, was received by his Nigerian counterpart, Geoffrey Onyama, at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Phoebe Kabruk reports.
The two ministers, while exchanging views, expressed commitment towards reviving the Nigeria-Sierra Leone Joint Commission with a view to strengthening bilateral relations between the two countries. Other discussions also centered on some global affairs, including the reforms of the United Nations Security Council, which will top the agenda at the 27th Ordinary Session of the Heads of State and Governments of the African Union, scheduled for the 10th to the 18th of July in Kigali, Rwanda.
We exchange good lessons out of it, one being that try to indicate to our respective diplomats what type of due diligence they will require, even in movements within our respective countries.
Some two Nigerians who are in prison in Sierra Leone, and how we could address their situation. And we've been able to hold very fruitful discussions, and of course, in a more relaxed frame of mind.
The ministers, who took note of the current state of affairs in the Security Council reform efforts and the multidimensional challenges, underscore the need for greater solidarity among African countries in the reforms efforts. It will be recalled that the Deputy High Commissioner of Sierra Leone, Major General Alfred Nelson Williams, was kidnapped along the Kaduna-Abuja highway on the 30th of May 2016 on his way to attend the graduation of the Senior Course 38 of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, Kaduna State. He was rescued unharmed on Tuesday through the concerted efforts of the Nigerian Armed Forces and other security agencies. Phoebe Kabruk, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigerians have been urged to support the government of President Muhammadu Buhari in its dogged commitment to restore public confidence through commitment and transparent leadership. Guest on NTA Current Affairs program, Moment for Thoughts, stated this.
There is no country that depends on any other country or depends on any other country to develop it. But to do this, government must have to come clean to the citizens.
It is shameful that a country of 170 million people is just a market of 170 million people for foreigners to exploit.
Moment for Thought comes up at 10:30 tonight on the network service of the NTA. Political office holders have been enjoined to sponsor programs as part of their constituency projects to complement the Nigerian Christian Pilgrim Commission's goal for every Nigerian Christian to go on holy pilgrimage at least once in a lifetime. This was in a message at the opening ceremony of the Conference of Pilgrimage Leaders and Managers of Nigeria by the Executive Secretary Tor Uja at Goshen City in Abuja. Lydia Bassi reports.
19 states, including the FCT, were represented at the conference. NCPC Executive Secretary Tor Uja says the conference is aimed at steering the ship of state pilgrim welfare boards to a new level of nationalism to provoke greater patriotism and to set a template for service to humanity globally.
We want to give opportunity to every Christian who wants to participate in pilgrimage to find it a lot easier to do so.
The event was interactive, where participants expressed their views on the focus of the conference, which is pilgrimage, the church, and Nigeria.
It makes Christ to increase in us, for us to decrease in the flesh.
3/4 of the Jews are not Christians, so that makes you to pray more.
Aside setting an agenda for pilgrimage in Nigeria at state and national level, the NCPC is also planning a conference for all Nigerian church leaders in Israel to pray for peace and progress of the nation. In Abuja, Lydia Bassi, NTA News.
Lagos, the center of excellence, is our first port of call on NTA Network News tonight, and Vera is waiting with the latest development from that zone. Compliments of the season to you, Vera.
Thank you, Fumi. Good to see you. Welcome to Lagos. Fun seekers and holiday makers besieged the various recreation centers in Lagos to mark the end of the 3-day Salas holiday in commemoration of Eid al-Fitr. Amaechi Pius went around Lagos metropolis and brought back this report.
It's a long holiday which provided Muslims and Christians the opportunity to relax and spend time with their loved ones. A visit to recreational centers like the National Theatre in Lagos is one interesting experience which fun seekers like these young men and women, and even the young at heart, are always looking forward to.
Where I'm living is look as if we are living in the prison yard. So it is better for us to take them to a place where they will see people and the rest.
I've been enjoying myself since when we have entered this place. I've seen some things I've never come before. As in some things that I've never come across before. I've seen it here.
Since we came, I've been relaxing here with my family, watching what is going on. I'm not a Muslim, I'm a Christian.
It was a beehive of activities as children and adults were spotted taking their turns to take rides on horses for a fee.
Thank God that we finished our fasting.
I've been watching cartoons.
Others had exciting moments playing various games in a relaxing atmosphere. For photographers and petty traders, it was an opportunity to make brisk business.
This is what we call face painting. So usually it's done in the parties or where they're doing children's and whatever. So this very one I'm doing for kids. So they love having it, like making themselves happy.
Snap one, 200 naira. So some people, even when they come, they say they prefer to use their phone. And that's the few people that come say.
At the cinema in Sulere, fun seekers engaged in recreational activities within the complex, while many young people prefer to see a movie with their loved ones. Those who spoke to NTA News say they're looking forward to going back to work tomorrow. In Lagos, Amaechi Pius, NTA News.
Civil society groups, religious and socio-cultural organizations, as well as students from various tertiary institutions have gathered in Lagos to commemorate 18 years of the death of the presumed winner of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, Moshood Kashimawo Abiola. The event was organized by Women Arise for Change and Kudirat Abiola Initiative for Democracy. Musa Toliat has the details.
July 7th every year has remained indelible in the minds of these civil society groups who gathered at the residence of late Chief Moshood Kashimawo Abiola in Lagos to celebrate his legacies and promote the ideals he lived and died for. Representatives of the groups took turn to eulogize MKO and encourage Nigerians to emulate the virtues promoted by the late political icon.
Our people are more divided along ethnic and religious lines. MKO was for justice.
To unite this country. And then I also appeal in the memory of MKO Abiola, let us also, as Nigerians, emphasize and do those things that unite us.
We have to now start getting our people to start fending for themselves. The Nigerian people should now understand that their own future lies in their hands.
The groups later laid wreath at the tomb of late MKO Abiola amidst chants of solidarity songs. In Lagos, Musa Tolian, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. We pause at this point for some messages. The news returns shortly with Fumi in Abuja. Don't go away.
2003, only one in 2,000 Nigerians had a phone. One company had a master plan. It allowed every Nigerian to have a phone. That same company was the first to bring in 2.5G, turning phones into mini computers. Then they began to lay their own undersea cable and to dig across the whole nation. But it didn't stop there. Social media meant that data was king. Industry sources acknowledge that Glo is the largest growing network in new data subscription. The master plan came into its own. And when you ask Glo about this, what do they say? Well, it doesn't stop there. It only just started.
Enjoy our new data overload. Double your data on every plan. Like 6 gigabytes for 2,000 naira, 12 gigabytes for 3,000 naira, and 24 gigabytes for 5,000 naira. Dial *777# to select a plan. The largest data network. Glo, grandmasters of data.
What?
What are you doing?
Stop! Stop!
There you go.
Yay, Indomie!
You start shouting your way.
It's me! Like no other.
Hungry like you.
It's me! Like no other.
Remember this every day.
It's me! Like no other.
Get it right with Indomie.
Indomie! Like no other. It's me! Like no other.
Here's to all amazing moms who identify and nurture the uniqueness in our kids. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Suppresses cough.
How is my baby feeling now?
Well enough to go on.
She's lively again with Glucoday.
Provides fast multi-symptom relief. So contains paracetamol, pseudoephedrine hydrochloride, and dexhydrobromide. Marketed by Pharmatex Nigeria Limited. Available nationwide. Flucoday. If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult your doctor.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
I will begin this segment with business news. No bank in the country is distressed, so says the Central Bank of Nigeria. Vivian Idepefo tells us more on business news.
Baraka de Salah, and welcome to this segment of the news.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has assured the banking public of the safety of their deposits, stressing that no bank in the country is in distress. In a statement, the Acting Director, Corporate Communications, Isaac Okorafor, urged the public to ignore rumor which states otherwise and cautioned against panic withdrawals. The assurance is coming on the heels of recent developments involving the change of leadership of Sky Bank PLC, which the Apex Bank regulator maintains is not in distress. The pound sterling rebounded Thursday after falling 2 straight days as a risk appetite with the rise in some global stocks encouraged investors. The pound was 0.3% up against the dollar, having skidded to a 13-year low on Wednesday. It has been down more than 14% since Britain voted to leave the European Union. And oil prices turned negative on Thursday after the U.S. government reported a weekly crude draw that was within analyst forecasts, disappointing the bulls in the market who had expected larger declines. Brent crude were down 70 cents, equivalent to 1.4%, at $48.10 per barrel. U.S. crude imports rose to 808,000 barrels per day. And that concludes business news at this time. Eid Mubarak.
Many thanks, Vivian. And Sokoto, the seat of the caliphate, is where we go next, where Zainab will be telling us all that is happening in that zone. Zainab, it's over to you.
Fumi and welcome. Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar III has called on Nigerians to engage in different ventures that will assist them enjoy the current economic hardship. He made the remark while addressing thousands of Muslims that converged on his palace to mark Eid al-Fitr celebration. Jabi Ibrahim Ilele Daburi has the report.
The Sultan said the current administration's clamor for change requires total support and endurance from Nigerians. The monarch commended the Islamic scholars for concentrating on the true teachings of Islam during their preachings in the Ramadan period. He called on Muslims to sustain their acts of ibadat even after the Ramadan fast, while commending Governor Tambol for various relief packages by his administration, particularly the Ramadan feeding program. Call on government at all levels to initiate new programs that have direct bearing to the people. The Sultan used the opportunity to call on the young Nigerians to join the military, police force and other paramilitary organizations for the nation's development. He also expressed dismay over Medina bomb blast in Saudi Arabia, saying that Muslim sages should convene an international conference to study causes of terrorism among Muslims and propose solutions. Other issues raised by the Sultan include the quest for conventional and religious knowledge, unity and peaceful coexistence among Nigerians, and maintenance of security at different levels, among others. And Sokoto, Jabilila Daburi, NTA News.
Former Nigeria's president and chairman, Sokoto Education Development Trust Fund, Alhaji Shehu Usman Aliyu Shagari, has assured of continued support of the fund towards revolutionizing the education sector in Sokoto State. He stated this at the opening of the annual meeting of the fund to review achievements recorded in the education sector held at the Sultan's Palace. Osman Abdurrahman Jibrila has the report.
The former president, Alhaji Shehu Shagari, described the state of emergency declared in the education sector as a stepping stone towards achieving both goals of the fund and the state government. He called on individuals and other stakeholders to support the giant stride of the present administration for the development of education in the state. Alhaji Shehu Shagari said that the fund has achieved a lot with the support of the state government and the Sultanate Council through religious and traditional rulers' campaign to promote education, especially at the grassroots. Sokoto State Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol said efforts are intensified by the state government in actualizing the emergency declared in the education sector. He said presently the state government is spending over 850 million naira on teacher salaries across the state. The governor said the efforts are part of practical steps to improve their welfare and make them more productive. Sultan of Sokoto Muhammad Saad Abubakar III expressed readiness to continue supporting the state government and the fund to achieve these set goals. He said the traditional and religious leaders will be well informed on how best to inform their wards on the importance of education to the development of the state and country. Sokoto, Abraham Swanjibula, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to you for me.
Thank you, Zainab. The relations between Nigeria and Côte d'Ivoire is being strengthened in the areas of developing domestic tourism. In a meeting between the Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation (NTDC) and the Ivorian Ministers of Tourism and Foreign Affairs, both countries strategized on ways of opening up frontiers on housing. Oyinaya Kalu Oka has the report.
Generated revenue for Côte d'Ivoire aside from farming. The country's success story on religious tourism that has brought over 100,000 tourists last year, 2015, from different parts of the world to the first African basilica in Yamoussoukro, the political capital of Côte d'Ivoire. Stakeholders say is on the right track. The meeting between the Director General NTDC Salem Banefo and the Minister of Tourism and his counterpart from the Foreign Affairs was as a result of an MOU signed between both countries in Nigeria.
Different niche on which we are working as far as tourism is concerned.
This went, to bring very big support to our economic development.
The Director General NTDC Salem Banefo noted that there is a need for both countries to look at ways of developing domestic tourism across the African region.
The richness of your culture reflects also Nigerians' culture because we have so many similarities. And we believe that together we can sell Africa.
With the meeting, both countries will strengthen existing areas and explore new areas of developing and boosting domestic tourism on a win-win situation. From Abidjan in Côte d'Ivoire, Oyinaya Kalu Oka, NTA News.
Many thanks, Oyinaya. And we move on now to Benin City, where we're told that Governor Shomole hosts Muslims and their leaders to a party. Beauty will tell us all about it in just a moment. Over to you, Beauty.
Good evening, Fumi. Eid Mubarak and welcome to Benin. Governor Adamso Shomole has assured Muslim leaders in the country of the federal government's readiness to address the economic challenges currently facing the country. He was speaking when he played host to the leadership of the Muslim community in the state who were at Government House to celebrate Eid al-Fitr, as we hear from Frank Okonofwa.
Governor Shomole, who acknowledged the present economic situation of the country, said all hope is not lost. He was optimistic that the new Nigeria under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari will be achieved. The governor said the president has what it takes to put the nation on the path of excellence and urged Nigerians to exercise some patience. He urged Muslims to use the Ramadan to pray for wisdom in the fight against corruption in the country.
Just pray and also encourage ourselves to play our part. Nigeria will become great. The structure that we need is our heart.
The Muslim leaders who were led by Chief Imam of Benin, Malam Abdul Fattah Nabulele, attributed the problem of Nigerians to bad leaders. He appealed to politicians to play by the electoral rules in the September 10th governorship election in the state.
The Ramadan season should provide Nigerians a much-needed break from a seemingly unhealthy stream of undesirable activities that have caused so much tension in the country.
Muslim leaders prayed for the state and the country at large. In Benin, Frank Okonofwa, NTA News.
Delta State government is getting set for a befitting Silver Jubilee anniversary. To this effect, the governor of the state, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, is calling on the private sector to synergize with the government to actualize this objective. Tessie Koka reports that the governor made the call at a press conference in Asaba, the Delta State capital.
Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, represented by the State Information Commissioner, said it was another time for stock taking. He chronicled the footprints his predecessors left in the sand of time. The scorecard, after all, brings chairs to the heart. The time to unveil the anniversary logo was indeed right. He therefore solicited the cooperation of the private sector to actualize the grand celebration.
25 years after, we have cause to celebrate our existence as a state, believing that there is sure but steady progression towards the upliftment of human dignity and social economic development.
The Commissioner also said a committee headed by Secretary to the State Government, Festus Ovi Agas, and others have been set up to fine-tune the arrangement towards a successful celebration. The unveiling of the iconic logo signals the commencement of the Silver Jubilee celebration of Delta State. In Asaba, Tessie Coker, NTA News.
And that's our beat in Benin. It's back to you for me in Abuja.
Thank you, Beauty. And a beat now on sports and happenings around the world in just a moment.
Xiaomi M5 Plus with a 50-20 milliampere battery that lets you play for up to 3 days on a single charge. Xiaomi M5 Plus, always in power.
Always. We have lived together as brothers and sisters since long time in Muriva, without no mind that we have spoken different languages and celebration our cultural and diversity. No bombing, no cultism, no kidnapping. Nowadays our children are trampoline to cultists. Today we are suspicion one another. All this notorious behavior have scattered all over Nigeria. When are it going to change? More. When are it going to stop? Terrorism are unwanted visitors. Kidnapping are criminal. Cultism are barbaric. Do not destroy this country, oh. Our country, Nigeria, are blessed, oh. Are you see what I'm saying? Support Nigerian police force in their civil war against terror, kidnapping and cultism. Report any bad move around you. See and does not talk, I kill old age. And to hear and does not behavior, I kill small picking. All of us have the duty of building Nigeria free of crime. That's our dream.
This message is from the Nigeria Police Force.
The production, distribution, and sale of counterfeit and fake drugs is a corrupt practice and a crime against humanity. This has informed several measures and strategies to combat fake drugs, including introduction of anti-counterfeiting cutting-edge technologies to detect fake drugs on the spot. These technologies are being deployed to all the states across the Federation, as well as the internally displaced people's camps. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, and his team are committed to this fight.
The federal government of Nigeria, in line with its anti-corruption agenda and posture, will fight a total war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products in order to ensure that Nigerians remain healthy and well.
Lend your support and join NAFDAC to rid the country of fake drugs and unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
And we begin this segment with global tidbits as we join Talatu Ezrike for details.
Reports say that a man is being held by Italian police investigating the killing of the Nigerian immigrant Emmanuel Chidi Nnamdi, an act condemned by the Italian government. In the United States, video of a black man shot dead by police emerges as protests continued over the killing. From Britain, Theresa May and Andre Litsom will slug it out to become the next leader of the Conservative Party and UK Prime Minister. And German girls tough on rape with a new law defining rape, clarifying that no means no, even if a victim did not fight back. That's the long global tidbits. Talati Zuriki, NTA News.
And sports update is next with Kene Imabudike.
6 Olympic wrestlers and 4 officials departed the nation Thursday for the Spanish Grand Prix taking place in Madrid, July 8 to 10. 2 freestyle wrestlers, Amas Daniel and Shoso Tamaragu, will compete on the 9th of July, while Odunayo Adekoroye, Mercy Genesis, Blessing Oborodudu and Aminata Deniye will compete on the 10th. President of Nigeria Wrestling Federation, Daniel Igali, says the team is expected to embark in Nigeria on July 12th. Over 60 Taekwondo athletes from the southeast region of the nation took part in a one-day inspirational training session with 3-time Olympian Chika Chukwumerije at the Dan Anyam Stadium, Owerri, Imo State. The session, which exposed the athletes to referee rules, plyometric exercises, as well as physical training, is part of the Chika Chukwumerije Sports Foundation's efforts to further integrate the sport at the grassroots.
The facilities need to be upgraded, the knowledge of the coaching needs to be upgraded, and the athletes too need a lot of workshops like this.
An immense header from Cristiano Ronaldo on 53 minutes and a quick-fire second from Nani 3 minutes later ended Wales's fairy tale in Lyon, France, in the first semi-finals of the Euro 2016 midweek, ensuring that Portugal reached their second final of the competition in the past 5 editions. Andy Murray withstood a dramatic fight back from French 12th seed Jo-Wilfried Tsonga to win in 5 sets, 7-6, 6-1, 3-6, 4-6, 6-1 to book a Friday clash against Thomas Berdych in what will be his 7th semi-final at Wimbledon. 7-time champion Roger Federer takes on Canadian 6th seed Milos Raonic in the other semi-final after coming from 2 sets down to beat Croatia's Marin Cilic 6-7, 4-6, 6-3, 7-6, 6-3. With Sports Update, Ken.
As President Muhammadu Buhari described it, late Umar Shinkafe's contributions to the development of security architecture of Nigeria remains indelible. In a rare interview years back, Ibrahim Ismail Ahmed spoke to the late...
The taking of preemptive action to prevent it from getting out of hand. I'll give you an example. Many people, including the report of the Metasini riots in Kano, blamed the security system for not measuring up. Well, the truth was that in our archives and in reports submitted to government at that time,
Ismail Ahmed there in a rare interview with the Marafan Sokoto. Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed has described Zainab Bukola Ajayi, who died on Wednesday, as a colossus of her time who left an indelible footprint in the country's creative landscape. In a statement issued in Abuja, the minister said despite her advanced age, it was still with a sense of sadness and great loss that he received the news of the death of the veteran actress.